Hey, Teddy K here for Best Buy Plugin, and in this video review we take a look at the Google Home Mini, the latest smart home speaker from Google that has Google Assistant built in. If Google Home sounds familiar to you, it's because there already is a Google Home out in the market. This is the Mini, so this is the smaller sibling of the existing product. And there is a couple things to note here before we get into the product. Now, one thing about the Mini is that as of this review, there was a bit of a controversy around this. Namely being that for some units that were given out to journalists, there was an issue where the microphone was basically listening all the time. I know, scary stuff. But it wasn't quite like that. So because there's a touch button at the front here, at the top, I should say, it was as if the button was constantly pressed. Now, Google has disabled that feature. Now, this is as of this review. So until Google issues a permanent fix, which they say they're going to roll out, you cannot use the top touch button at the top of the unit to access or to trigger Google Assistant into action. So you can only do it by voice. So let's get into that now. The Mini is basically a hockey puck that talks. I mean, that's the best way I could kind of describe it, because that's really what it is. So if you are not familiar with the Google Home because you haven't used the previous product and this is your entry point into it, that makes sense, because this is more inexpensive and it's just easier to use because of where you can put it. You can put it just about anywhere. Not that the other one is huge, but still, this is pretty small. The functionality is no different than the other unit. The speaker is worse, obviously. You're not using this to listen to music. I would advise against that. It's just not very good for that. But you can pair it with a Bluetooth speaker or a speaker that has Chromecast functionality built in. So if you have a Chromecast audio that you've plugged into a speaker, an older speaker, you can actually push music or audio from this over to that. It's very cool. Everything works the same. So it's either OK Google or Hey Google or even Hi Google. You can't change the salutation. That's something that Google unfortunately has not enabled yet for either of its devices. So any of those salutations will trigger it into action, and then you can say it. You could just basically tell it what you want. You could ask it for the weather. You could ask it to play a song. If you have a subscription, or if you're using a music service that ties into the Google Home. So Spotify, Google Play Music are two that come to mind. If you're an Apple Music user, unfortunately, no integration here at all. You can link up with smart home products as well. So if you have Philips Hue lights or other light bulbs that are compatible with the Google Home, then you can control the lights too. You can turn them on, turn them off, dim, brighten, change colors, all those things. So that, you have the convenience of that too. There are a number of different products that do integrate with the Google Home. The list is growing, albeit a little slowly, but it is growing. So you have a number of things from like a Roomba vacuum to Philips Hue lights or other smart light bulbs, August Home Lock, Nest thermostat. There's a number of different types of smart home products that are integrated, and there are hubs too. So if you have a Wink or a Samsung SmartThings hub, you can actually access products that way too. Eventually next year, Sonos speakers will be added also, but that functionality is not open yet. So I'm just going to go through some examples of how this works, and some of it may seem familiar to you if you've already used the product before, but if you haven't, this is basically how it works. Hey Google, what's the weather like today?
In Toronto today, it'll be partly cloudy, with a forecasted high of 19 and a low of 10. Right now it's 19 and sunny.
Hey Google, do I need an umbrella?
No, rain is not expected today in Toronto. The forecast is 19 degrees and partly cloudy.
Hey Google, who is Gord Downie?
According to Wikipedia, Gordon Edgar Downie was a Canadian rock musician, writer, occasional actor, and activist.
Hey Google, when did the French Revolution happen?
French Revolution's dates are from 1789 to 1799.
Hey Google, what can I say?
Here are some suggestions. You can say, play CBC Radio 2, or 1 kilo in pounds. Would you like to hear some more?
Yeah.
Here are a couple more suggestions. You can say, who invented the telephone? Or, fat in an egg. Want some more?
Yeah.
You can say, how many liters in a gallon? Or, what's the definition of circumlocution? To find out more, you can look at the full list of suggestions in the Google Home app.
Hey Google, turn on my bar lights. And that's it. That's all there is really to it. And I think the advantage in using something like this is the convenience more than anything else. I think being able to control something in your home simply by voice is it's just convenient. I think objectively speaking, it's just a convenient thing to be able to do. You will have to have the products that are integrated with it, that are compatible with it. If you don't, then there's just no way, unless of course you get a hub that can link up with that product that may not have direct integration. So for example, if it works with the Wink or Samsung SmartThings hub, you can still make it work that way. So there are a couple of workarounds you can use. If you like the product also because of the Google integration, so whether it's your calendar or whether it's something like, you know, you want to set reminders, you want to set timers, you want to follow recipes, you can do a lot of those things. So there's a lot of discovery elements to the device too, and I encourage actually that you play around with it and see what you can do. For privacy, because I brought that up from the start, I just want to quickly go back to that for a second. You can see all the activity that runs through the unit. So if you go to My Activity in the Google Home app, you will see a list there of everything that you have done with this thing so that you know what's been asked and you know what it's done. So that way you know basically what it's not doing at the same time. So I totally understand the concern over privacy, especially with that little snafu that Google went through as it launched this thing. But rest assured, as long as you keep tabs of what it is that you're doing, which you can through the app, you should be fine. And that's my review of the Google Home Mini. For Best Buy Plugin, I'm Teddy K. Thanks for watching.